exciting 6-goal thriller at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena of Nikon, Lagos on Monday. Salah Yusuf gave the Oga Boys the lead after 2 minutes, and they doubled it 17 minutes later with Emmanuel Solomon diverting Harrison Austin's cross into the net. Lobby Stars, however, fought back with 2 goals and first half added time with a brace by Ifeanyi Assurance. Upon resumption, Ikorodu City remained undaunted and regained the lead in the 56th minute through Alade Solomon. Rivel Ayanwere scored in a beautiful effort 2 minutes later to seal the win for the hosts. The Oga Boys are the first team to score 4 goals in a single game at home in the Nigerian Premier Football League this season. Alia Boys, on the other hand, led by ex-international Daniel Amokachi, remain winless in 3 outings. Amokachi, speaking after the game, says his team knows its flaws and can work in it.
The bench and the reaction when we went into the half, what the flaws that they did showed, and they acknowledged that it happened, and then it's something that definitely we can work on.
Ikorodu City's interim coach, Nuruddin Aweroro, while praising his boys, said they played to instruction.
I could see some of my players lost concentration, especially in the midfield. We lost a lot of balls in the midfield, so it gave opportunity to the opponent to attack us. So after the break, during the break, I need to address them and tell them we are sitting back, we need to go forward, we need to play more of transition game, we need to play more of our game. We shouldn't be afraid of winning this match. So, and I give thanks to God, the player tried to play to instruction.
Another match centers Seifa Jackson's goal in the 47th minute against Niger Tornadoes ensured that Rivers United extended the unbeaten run to 8 matches. In Ibadan, Shooting Star Sports Club returned to winning ways with a slim 1-0 victory over Katsina United, while Rangers International held Aqua United to a goalless draw in Uyo.
Yes, indeed. I feel very excited, and that's because the UEFA Champions League games served us very exciting fixtures. Arsenal able to get back from the defeat from Bournemouth. I saw the game against Shakhtar Donetsk, but then I feel I would have to give credit to the goalkeeper for holding it down when it mattered most. That moment in the 90th minute, outside from the 18-yard box, that shot, and he was able to get an arm to it. We saw at the Bernabeu, Real Madrid were able, to surmount Borussia Dortmund. I mean, it was head-to-head, toe-to-toe at some point, and Vinicius Jr. came through like bend at the dank. And that's how we're coming through to you right here on SOUQ Sports and SOUQ News Television. My name is Tici Barrah. I'm the top cat. I do have another cat. Charlie Montero right here.
Well, guys, it was an outstanding midweek fixture, an outstanding Champions League game. For across board, everywhere, every game had its electrifying, times, and in transition, you see the game. This is, like I say, Champions League heritage, and Champions League nights at Bernabeu are always sumptuous for, especially the fans, the home fans, and even for us, sitting on the fence. But then, I would like to welcome you to today's edition of SOUQ Sports, and hold on to your horses as we go.
Well, full throttle. This time around, I'm getting off the horse and getting into a Formula One or MotoGP car. I mean, that's what it is. Anyway, let's start off with the local scene. The NPFL served us a very fresh, exciting fixtures. March the 8th conclusion, and that was on Mondays. Let's start off with the early fixture at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena on Nikon Stadium, where Ikorodu United played host to Daniel Amokachi-led Lobby Stars, who are winless at the moment. Well, as early as the 2nd minute, Ikorodu United roared into into the lead with a goal there, and then 17 minutes later we saw a corner kick combination to give birth to the second goal, and in 2 minutes added at the end of the first half, Lobby Stars, through the same man, scored twice before going into the break, and we thought we're in for a serious encounter, you know. And if for any reason you had an iota of doubt that Ikorodu would have gone to sleep, I mean, you didn't need to see the tense atmosphere in the stadium, fans dancing, urging them to go, and then they were able to find the back of the net, not once, but twice again, giving them the highest number of goals scored in the NPFL by a home side. That is 4 goals against Lobby Stars 2. And at the end, you could see the exhaustion on the faces of Lobby Stars, who had struggled to be able to get back into the thick of things, restoring parity at the end of the first half, going into the tunnel, feeling more victorious, you know, than the host at the end of the first half, and then returning in the second half to slump to a resounding defeat by the Oga Boys. It was a game that you needed to have experienced to understand, you know, why I'm spending so much time, you know, talking about it. The tenacity for an Ikorodu United who are without their coach at the sideline, Bright Ozabebe, assistant coach, now interim coach, because Ikorodu put out a press release that Aweroro is now the interim coach, keeping the rest of the crew, still keep retaining them, but Aweroro will now call the shots in the interim capacity. We've seen him not lose any game. He's drawn, he's won massively, and you begin to wonder if it was the Midas touch or just the change in guard.
Well, we all know what's changing a manager can do to any team. You know, he's just coming with fresh ideas. You know, he has been watching the game from the sidelines, or I would say from, you know, without lending full voice. Now he's in control. He knows what he would have loved to change or what difference that he would have loved to see, and now he's implementing them. And it's kudos to the boys, you know, for also interpreting and, you know, backing the coach as well. But it's just like you said, a change in coach, changing in the personnel and the helms of affairs can also, you know, spoil these boys. They want to fight for their place. They want to also show that they can play. And now coming from this win, I feel would also spur them into greater things. Will also ignite their passion to win more games. There's nothing like taking your first 3 points at home, doing it at home as well in front of your home fans. It's outstanding, and it's more or less like a morale boost. And speaking of Lobby Stars, yeah, you said that they left the place looking more victorious. Yeah, they were able to score 2 goals. They saw that they can, you know, actually put up a fight even when all hope looked or seemed lost. Yeah. And well, it was an outstanding game, a 6-goal thriller. I mean, how many times have we been able to talk about that in the MPFL? Well, it just owes and shows us that the MPFL is really improving, and I believe the Oga Boys will, you know, work on this win and
capitalize on it, so to say.
Yeah, and show us what they are capable of.
Well, we would want to see that, because in the next 3 days, I think the next match day is going to be 26th. They will be playing Aimba, yes, before Rivers United, you know, just to take a look at the MPFL fixtures for this weekend and bring you up to speed. But interim, the captain of Ikorodu United is also speaking. He's very confident that the boys will do better in terms of consolidating on the wins that they have. So today we do have a fixture in the MPFL, and that is a rescheduled fixture. Let me bring that up real quick and let you know that El Kanemi Warriors will be playing host to Kwara United at 3 o'clock. But to talk about the games that the other teams will take on, so Ikorodu City are away to Aimba. Like I mentioned, Imba will be playing host to them. That's going to be on Sunday, the 27th. But before that, we do have games on Saturday. Lobby Stars will take on Barrah United. After all, the loss by Lobby Stars, they will be looking to play host to Barrah United, who were also winners, by a lone goal in their last match day. But then a lot of persons have heard Daniel Mokachi. There was some bite that went into the team. There was a form of urgency that the boys played with, and I would attribute their loss to hard luck personally, because I saw that game. But then they'll face Barrah United, and it's a struggle for them to survive. Bendel Insurance will play host to Abia Warriors. Shooting Stars against Aqua United. That's going to be on Sunday. On Sunday again, the same as Sugida side, boasting of a rejuvenated Ahmed Musa and Ismail Abdullahi will take on Nasara United. They are away in that fixture. Rivers United, led by Finidi George, who are on top of the summit, on top of the league, despite picking up a draw in their last game, will face El Kanemi Warriors, who lost to Abia Warriors. Anyway, we're just trying to give you the trajectory of things. Plateau United will play host to Sunshine Stars. Remo, who have also been fantastic, will take on Heartland. Heartland, Emmanuel Almanike boys. I don't know how the Nazi Millionaires would take another loss. It just feels as though, in as much as the game will be played at the Dan Daniel Stadium, Remo Stars will come to the party to spoil it.
Exactly.
Heartland. Anyway, the last game on Sunday will be Katsina United against Niger Tornadoes. Just thought to bring you up to speed with some of the games and, let you know how they are panning out. Or rather, how the weekend would look in the MPFL. So, if I assurance, Lobby Stars midfielder is hailing Daniel Mokachi after recording his first double for Benue Star. He joined them from Barrah United and has played 5 league games since he joined the side. And while he scored that goal, if we could have that goal come up again, that game come up on the screen, you saw the first goal from Lobby Stars from the left flank. He was able to beat the goalkeeper unsuspecting, bringing the ball to his left foot and slot it. And then the second goal was his right foot. That kind of player.
Ikorodu City and Lobby Stars played an exciting 6-goal thriller.
The team anytime, any day. And then to see that he scored the second goal and went to celebrate with Daniel Mokachi just speaks a lot about their relationship, in the end. But then I wanted to ask a question to Daniel Mokachi. We're seeing an influx of ex-internationals, a lot of ex-internationals into the NPFL. As it stands now, we can boast of 3 or 4. I mean, if you had to do a closer look. Okay, so Emmanuel Aminike, Finidi George, Daniel Amokachi. And then we have an Austin Aguavon who is with the Super Eagles. So an influx of ex-international into the Nigerian footballing space, especially the professional football league. What do you make out of that? Good or bad for the league? Or is it that we do not have jobs out there for them to go fight for?
No, I feel it's good, because if you want to build something, you have to start from the scratch.
Yeah.
Now, we also need experience. These guys have been there, done it all. They have experienced what it feels like to play outside the country, and they have also tested success with the national team. So they know the dynamics. They know what it feels like to, play for the country. They know the in and about of everything. So I feel their experience alone can, bring up or would go a long way to show the boys, bring their experience, bring their worth of knowledge, and show the boys that they can do this. And it's also adding to their portfolio. When you mention these names, it attributes to something. It attributes to greatness. You think back to the glory days of Nigeria and what they were able to achieve. And if they can, mirror that into their current team, that would be good for us, and it will help the league go. At least if you go online and you mention Amokachi, you can relate it to a certain team in the MPFL, and his connections as well, his connections with players outside, media outside. It just helps to sell the league and promote it more. That's how I feel like they have been able to influence the MPFL.
Well, the Promise Keepers played out a draw, goalless, and Coach Umar Abdullahi has lamented over his team's challenges. The draw left them in the 18th spot on the MPFL table, talking about Aqua United. Finidi George, we saw him praise his players after match day 8 over with a victory, 1 goal in Mina. Sheifa Jackson's single goal, was all that separated them. Nigel Tondede's coach was lamenting over defeats to Rivers United. I mean, you win some, you lose some.
That's the game of football.
The funniest thing is the fact that they lost in Mina.
Well, you can lose anywhere. That's what we know now. As the new MPFL season is on match day 8. We have seen a couple of away wins and we have seen a couple of home losses. And you just tell you how competitive. We keep beating our on this issue. Like the MPFL is not what we used to, talk about or what we used to see. Now it's better. Now it's more competitive. Now it's more or less like the fight to finish. So everybody is looking at the prize. It's winnable now for anybody, and if you slouch, if you take your foot off the pedal, someone will just take it off your own. So I think it's more or less competitive. It's more engaging, especially for the fans. We just need to beckon on the media to play their role and play their parts in it and help us, push this MPFL, push up our league to where, or the likes of what we are used to seeing abroad.
Well, congratulations to the Flamingos. They have done marvelously well, sealing a victory against Dominican Republic and topping Group A. Well, a dramatic 1-0 victory. We've seen massive score lines to the build-up. And then on the final group day, they beat Dominican Republic by lone goal. It was played early, hours of today in Santo Domingo. Moshood's powerful left-footed strike from 25 yards beat the goalkeeper, marking a fourth goal in the game. So, what do you make out of this? They had already qualified in the 2 games, just one outstanding game, and they were able to pick up maximum 3 points, headed into the quarterfinals.
Well, I also noticed how the coach was able to reshuffle the team. Being that they have qualified, he needed to give these other people or people that have not had game time to showcase their talent, and you could see from the outcome of the game that there was a difference. But they were able to take the 3 points, they were able to win. But you could also see that they were relaxed in a bit, relaxing their minds, relaxing their body, relaxing the players for what is to come in the knockout stages. And now we can see that they have taking maximum points and they have qualified. Well, it's kudos to them. We talked about them on Monday and we praised them, and they really want it. You can see the hunger and the desire. You can see the togetherness they are able to muster, scoring 4 goals and now scoring 1 goal. They more or less like managed it. They let's just
get it.
And they saw it over the line, and that's beautiful to see. We wish them well and we hope that they can go all the way this time.
Well, 4 nations have qualified for the next phase of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, which the Nigeria representative Flamingo is, taking part in. So you have Ecuador, Spain, United States of America, all qualifying.
I think Spain should be the one.
The quality of the teams. What do you make out of that?
Well, Spain should be the one we should be trying to avoid for now because they are really deadly. They know this game, and we saw last year that they were the most successful national team across board in every category, in every division. Will I say division, or in every age category that they ran out for. So Spain would be one of our on the watch list I would try to avoid if we would need to move. But I feel like these girls can also go toe-to-toe with them. USA is another one that should have shown prowess, and we know what their women's national side have been able to achieve over the years, and we have seen that trickle down the ages. So I feel if we can build on the confidence that these girls have been able to achieve over the course of 3 games. We obviously there's nobody we can there's nobody we cannot beat at the moment. And I'm backing them. I'm standing behind them, but I don't want to say anything critical.
Don't get very expectant. Anyway, Zambia against Japan, Poland, Brazil. Those are the fixtures lined up for later on today, and of course one of the pair would make it to the next round. And I mean, Zambia, Japan, Poland, Brazil.
Well, I will lean towards our African sisters, and I would like to see them also. It will pose a great picture for the African football, and also I think Brazil will be looking more likely. Well, we cannot take out what the Japanese have been able to do. Those girls are faster. They know how to play football. They are skillful. They play quick passes, quick transition, and I just feel because of sentiments, I would like our African sisters to qualify, and I know Brazil will take the other one because it's their heritage, it's football. So yeah, that's my pick.
All right, let's still keep with the continent of Africa, where football fans in Nigeria are on edge to know the decision of the Confederation of African Football. And so they're set to announce their decision today on the contentious 2025 African Cup of Nations second leg clash between Nigeria, Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Mediterranean Knights of Libya. So the match was part of the Group D. It was marred with a lot of controversy, coming to Nigeria, going to Benghazi, Al-Barak. I mean, the drama was just too much. The NFF lodged a complaint with CAF following the incident. A video shared by the Eagles media captured the players and officials surrounded by their luggage, apparently ignored by Libyan airport officials. And so, other videos have continued. So it's just been a trade of videos
and evidence.
A collapse in diplomacy and all that. So how do you think this is going to tilt?
Well, as it is, CAF has the yam and the knife.
Oh,
so they are the ones that would decide. But everybody has lodged their complaint. Both parties have come out to say this is what happened, or they have shared their grievances, and it's left for CAF now to do what is right without having to be or show any element of bias. The right thing would be for a reschedule, but punishment
probably
needs
to penalize.
Yes, people need to be penalized to avoid something like this repeating
I don't
itself.
think you're going to have to penalize an individual. You penalize the footballing nation.
Yeah, you have to.
So do you think
They are responsible.
So how about the Nigerian incident where there were also video footages?
Based on what we heard and based on popular reports, you would also want to blame the Libyans. You can't take off 1 hour before informing your host that you're already on the way. How do they make preparation? Libya to Nigeria by air is nothing more than 4 hours. So how would they get preparation now? They would have to change and make more reservation for you to the airport where you are landing, because you have changed your flight route to come into Port Harcourt instead of Uyo. So they would have to make reservations for you in Port Harcourt. Obviously, time is a factor that they don't have the luxury of. They will have to, send buses, make for, transportation processes for you to get back to where you are supposed to. So now, who is going to cover that cost? Mind you, we are also working on a budget. Now, if you have made preparations in you now have to look for another budget or look for another money to make another preparation for them in Port Harcourt. So obviously, it's going to take time. And that was what they were not putting into consideration. And for it to now happen in Libya is more or less like vengeance. It's more or less like taking, it's more or less like an eye for an eye. And that's what, and that's why the Nigerian folks, especially netizens, went out and they were tweeting, because it felt like it was deliberate.
Yeah.
We also saw the video of the pilot coming out to say that he was on air and he requested for landing and they redirected him. He was also scared of, losing fuel and whether it will take them back to where they give them access to. So a lot of things, you see that they put the life of these players at risk. What if the plane had lost control, or they had their jet fuel finished? So I just feel like it's very dangerous for them to overlook these details, because we have seen that the Northern African side, especially in CAF competition, we say in club continental competition, they're used to doing this. Eyimba, for one, have experienced it going to play away when the floodlights were turned off on them while they were training. So I just feel CAF should make sure that they met out justice for this and make sure punishments are, belted out for those that have defaulted, and also make, rules to guide against this for future occurrences.
Well, couldn't have been said any better. Charlie Montero, my man. Well, Super Falcons head coach Justin Madugu expressed enthusiasm yesterday about the arrival of 25 invited players as they gear up for their first training session at the Mobology Johnson Arena in preparation of the 2 international friendlies against Algeria's senior women's national team. So, we had talked about the players who had made the cut. I think apart from Rashida Jibade and Chidozie, the goalkeeper, we just relatively have majority of homegrown players. timeliness, the timeliness of this international friendly. What do you make out of it? And the decision to stick to a local team?
Well, just like I said on Monday.
Makeup of a local team.
Yeah, like I said on Monday, it's more or less like a new face Super Falcons, and they are looking for the next generation. And there's no way you are going to find them if you don't try them out. So I feel it's more or less like a tryout, trying to recruit new faces from the local scene, and it's well deserved. Even though they don't get the recognition or they don't get the exposure that they deserve, we know that our feminine side, talking about footballing in football aspect, they've been doing well. We have superstars, we have girls in the in the women's division that play well. So I think it's time for them to give them a chance to show what they can do. And you talk about timing, but it's necessary. When is it ever going to be the perfect time to do these things? And we see the Banyama played yesterday, and they won 1-0. So why can't we do the same thing? They also fielded a more or less national home-based side. So I just feel it's a textbook thing. Everybody's trying to find transition. Everybody's trying to find a successor for their teams. And it is time, it's necessary. If the men's national team have their own international break, they should also give recognition to the female side as well.
Well, after experiencing 3 consecutive drops, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, finally, they have witnessed an increase in their squad's market value. So now they're boasting a total market value of, well, as of January, they were rated as one of the most valuable teams. I think when we went for the African Cup of Nations, 465.19 million euros. This figure did take a drop, plummeting to 252. That was the value. I think it was Victor Osimhen that carried the bulk of that value. And that decline was largely attributed to the absence of the star striker. His lack of participation was felt particularly during Nigeria's matches against South Africa and Benin. So recent development have seen the Eagles bounce back. So the latest report from Transfer Market, the Nigerian squad value has increased to 281 million euros, and that's nothing still compared to 465 when it was
it's not.
when we had Victor Osimhen in full swing.
Well, Victor Osimhen is still, we saw him score a remarkable goal.
But it's not, his value has also dropped.
It's also dropped. Yeah, it's owing to the move to Galatasaray, and he's not been able to play as much, shine like he did in that Napoli winning season. We can also see that the other boys coming in, so we don't always often get lucrative deals when it comes to African players or Nigerian players. We don't always get, because of the whole AFCON issue, when we slated, everything is more or less like a bargaining chip for the whites. Because look at when our AFCON is being hosted, December, January, when the league is almost in full swing, you have club sides that play weekends, especially in the Premier League. And most managers I've spoken to why they don't like to sign African players because of the AFCON. So it will go a long way to affect the market value of these players and also their performances. We saw at the weekend, Nigerian players, Gurasi also, Nigerian players, just an African player showing their quality, showing their prowess. Boniface, Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, now coming into the international scene. I mean, you can't mention, African football and not mention these guys. Yeah. You have to mention them. And if you look at the 2 editions back of the African best players, it has also come to Nigerian players, both in the female side and the male category. So yes, it's also shows by showing that we have also risen in market value. So I feel it's the performance on the pitch that is translating into this.
Well, Nigeria is trailing Morocco 75 million. That was what they suffered in drop, 75 million euros. But then they managed to retain a squad value of 325 million euros, allowing them to stay ranked 16th globally. Senegal stands 3rd on the continent, a value of 276 million euros, while the reigning African Cup of Nations champions Ivory Coast have slipped to 4th in Africa and 25th globally with a market value of 245 million. Ghana occupies the 5th spot, valued at 228 million euros, and we have also seen at the global stage England maintaining their position as the most financial valuable national team with an impressive market value. Wait, hold on, listen. 1 1.34 billion euros.
Billion euros. They don't market anything apart from football in the UK.
Oh, it's crazy.
They don't market. If you go to the UK, they don't. The way they worship football. I mean,
But then I would have expected Spain to come in second. But then you have France and then Brazil in third.
and the English team is majorly made up of stars from their local league. It's
The
rarely,
local league is the EPL.
yeah, it's the EPL, and it's rarely you see, okay, just like the Hurricane, recently switched to Bayern. So they always make up their English team from their home-based players, and they are all superstars if you look at
Yeah.
it, because how they've been able to market their league, they've been over the years,
It's
consistency.
made it very lucrative.
Yeah, and bringing in deals, partnership, and it's just very lucrative for them. And all over the world, people speak about the EPL. You see people calling, when you watch their show, you see people calling from the USA, people calling from Africa, South Africa, India, as far as India, Australia. So you see that they watch the EPL all over the world. So it's no surprise to see that they, watch that much.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll take a moment now, and when we return, more stories coming your way. The UEFA Champions League continues today, but first, a review of the games that happened yesterday after the break. Well, the UEFA Champions League returns. Well, what started yesterday. The league format is what we are facing now, and the biggest game of yesterday, I mean, will be the most successful league in Europe. Real Madrid taking on one of the finest teams in Germany, Borussia Dortmund. 7 goals were scored in the game, but not until later stage of the game when we saw 3 goals banged in by Real Madrid against BVB. Sadly, for all the work they had put in, we saw the ball possession at the end of the game. Not much of a difference. I think about 65 to 45 or 55 to 45 or thereabout. 55 for Real Madrid. That's supposed to. I mean, they matched them toe to toe. That's what I'm trying to say, and it was interesting to see. But late on, we saw 3 late goals change the course of the conversation and the tide in favor of Real Madrid, ending the game 5-2 against Borussia Dortmund. Welcome back.
Come back. Hala Madrid. Hala Madrid.
Vinicius Jr., the man with the magic wand.
Well, that's what number 7s are made of. I mean, when you inherit a number from Cristiano Ronaldo, you have to live up to the hype. So it's a unique number, it's a Champions League number. No, take nothing away from their performances. And we have been speaking of Real Madrid over the years. 3 years and running, they know how to soak up pressure. They might not play anything spectacular, as long as they know and they believe. It's just the belief I see that they tend to work, or they tend to capitalize on. They just stay. They know how to stay in the game. And look at 2 quick fire goals in the beginning of the second half. Put them level. Anybody who was not watching the game just pick up his phone and saw the scoreline and say, "Wow!" But you will not know that these guys at some point they were done. It was like there was no hope, and everybody was all over the internet was like, Madrid is done. No, Ancelotti out.
And just before Vinicius scored on the other end of the pitch, there was a goal attempt at Borussia Dortmund. It was quick succession, and they were unable to convert that chance, which would have further nailed Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But then on the opposing end, the goal that led to Vinicius taking off his jersey, was massive. We saw Real Madrid resurge, took control of the game, started distributing those passes, and the goals came once and twice.
3 times. And
I mean,
when Mbappe joined, towards the tail end of last season, lots of people were talking about how deadly they would be, especially on the break. And we just saw that. I mean, this is the first time we have really, been able to see a glimpse of their counter-attacking prowess. Just 2 seconds is enough for them to, make something. And he started that run from his own half, just slightly out of the box 18, the 18-yard area. And he ran all the way and scored the goal without. They couldn't catch him. We know his pace, we know Mbappe's pace, but he did it by himself. He's the Ballon d'Or winner without any arguments. already. I mean, if anybody had doubts, yesterday was some a performance to clear their doubts. And we just talk about how good this team is, how individual brilliance in every aspect
You
of
don't
the
think
team
Ademola Lookman has a chance?
in that team. Yeah. No, I don't know. Who does he want to bench there? You can't bench Rodrigo. Rodrigo is like more like their silent weapon. He can slip into the midfield, play on the right, play on the left. So I just feel that team is complete. But sometimes they play, like they don't know what they want to do because they don't really have a clear-cut tactics. But now we know that it's counter-attack they are playing for. So any team that wants to break them down, you cannot go ahead and sit back.
Disrupt the counter.
You have to keep on the pressure from the get-go to the end of the game because Madrid is a team that plays full 90 minutes. They don't drop it. They keep on going. So I don't know. It's what we saw yesterday was Champions League heritage at the Bernabeu. They know how to, come from behind and win a game. They call them the comeback kings of the Champions League, and without any doubt, they have proven it time and time again. Even when the stars or we say the big names have gone, they still keep. That's the DNA of Real Madrid. That's the DNA, and we know what they are capable. Let's not keep going back and forth with Real Madrid and how they've been able to demolish teams in the Champions League. I mean, there are other games there. We saw Aston Villa as well. Just phenomenal. This is what the Champions League is made for.
Well, another thrilling fixture that we should talk about is Arsenal and Shakhtar Donetsk. 29 minutes, that own goal there from Dimitro Riznik was all the Gunners needed to beat Shakhtar. In as much as there's a goal-scoring opportunity, a penalty, that was awarded to Arsenal, and they were unable to come back. Listening to the post-match, I mean, some of the players were missed. Who do you think would have, Saka would have stepped up to the plate and converted, and Odegaard?
Odegaard would have, but Saka most especially, more or less like their penalty taker when you talk about who should take the penalty when the penalty is won. It's Saka because I can't remember instances where he has missed. So even if he has, the only one I can think back to is the UEFA European League, the final. Since then, he has had a clean record, a clean slate when it comes to taking penalties. And another person is Kai Havertz. He's also clinical from the spot. And who else? I think Martinelli, but not really. Then Jorginho, although he's on the bench. But when he was at Chelsea, he was more or less like their penalty taker because of how clinical he was. He had a style of taking his penalties and they were always effective. But I did not expect Trossard to miss. But Trossard is not someone you can rely on when someone that can take up the pressure and take penalties when it matters the most. So for me, when he stepped up, I was like, he's going to miss. I told my brother that he's going to miss. And when he did, I was like, it's a clear justification that the penalty shouldn't have stood at the first place because...
Really?
Yeah, but yeah, the rule is the rule. He did swing his arm at the ball. He clenched his fist and he changed the direction of the ball. Even though there was no Arsenal player at the end of it, it was harsh, but justice was also let out,
Well, Aston Villa continue to prove their Champions League credentials by beating Bologna 2-0, sitting pretty on top of the summit.
I mean, Unai Emery is able to perform wonders with this team. A team that was fighting relegation when he took charge. I speak to Aston Villa as a team that you will call them underdogs, but you will not also call them underdogs because they have experience there. Emi Martinez standing in between the sticks is one confident, player that you can look towards, and he can inspire the rest of the players, even though they are not as, or would I say, they are not as successful as himself. And if you look across board, they have Oli Watkins, John Duran, even though he, started yesterday and he didn't perform his magic off the bench. You see that they are impact players. And there's something you can also you attribute to Unai Emery. He knows how to groom players. He knows how to find missing gems and slot them into the team, and they can perform wonders. When he was at Villarreal, Chukwueze was more or less like the gem he discovered because he used him and eventually he was able to secure the transfer to AC Milan. So now talking of Aston Villa, I feel like they are complete in all ramifications, in all center. There's a McGinn that has played in the Premier League for 7 years, so he knows how the dynamics of the club. So I feel like where they are now is a testament to hard work, is a testament to the intelligence of the coach, the management, even their set piece set piece coach is also brilliant. When they have scored a lot of goals from set pieces, and their recruitment too as well. You see Tillemans coming in from Leicester City. Yeah. Quality in and around the pitch, in and around every side of the team. I'm not surprised really, but I'm surprised because it's a team that we have watched struggle, and they have come to the summit of the UEFA Champions League, where you have the likes of Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, champions.
Even Arsenal with them in the Premier League.
Arsenal and Man City. And I say they should take their flowers, really. They've really done well, and kudos to Unai.
Well, let's see if the consistency continues, but PSG seem to have lost a little bit of confidence. Fans as well, drawing with PSV. Eindhoven in that particular game, 1-0 it ended.
Well, it was embarrassing, really.
Ouch.
Yeah, you come to this Parc des Princes and you score first, and you dominate the game. It was really embarrassing. Bracola tried, and there's so much that one young lad could do. You see Dembele missing that opportunity early on. I would just say it's a transition period for them. They need to take the journey as it comes, a step-by-step process. And Luis Enrique, people, a lot of people have raised questions as to, is he really the person for the job? We would not say PSG has a style of play. They've been used to getting stars from in all around Europe and building a super team. So now that they have young, hungry players that have not made a name for themselves yet, I think they are struggling. And will not be a surprise if they don't actually win the league this season. But PSG going far in the Champions League will be owed to miracle. I'll just say it like that. But they've not been able to show us clear-cut football. They've not been able to show us football like we know how they play it. And I'm not really seeing them going far in the Champions League, really.
Anyway, games continue today in the UEFA's Champions League, and those games come with one very crazy game, very interesting. It's going to be very mind-blowing to see Barcelona take on Bayern Munich. Both teams are in superb form. The game would happen at 8 o'clock, and let's talk about that one first. Meanwhile, we have all the fixtures on the screen for you, to take a look at. And predictions coming up as well on SOUQ Sports. So if you can correctly predict the scoreline between Barcelona and Bayern Munich, we're giving out urgent 2K to certain people. Correctly predict the scoreline between Barcelona and Bayern Munich. The game is for 8 o'clock. Predictions will stop at 7. And then you get a chance to win urgent 2K if you predict the scorelines. Indeed.
Barcelona, Bayern Munich, there's a history behind that fixture, and we have always seen Bayern come out on top, and nobody would forget that 8-2 thrashing in a hurry. But I think there's a resurgence in Barcelona at the moment. They've been able to, the Hansi Flick ball that we are used to seeing at Barcelona, at Bayern Munich, I beg your pardon, has been able to transcend into the, DNA of Barcelona, because now they play the tiki-taka, they get the goals, everybody is involved, and they're high scoring. If Hansi Flick is a manager that is never tired of seeing you score. Just keep on scoring. As long as there is opportunity, bagging your goals. And coming against this Bayern Munich team, he's a manager that has worked at Bayern. So he more or less knows how Bayern will set up. Their DNA, they've been able to hold that DNA for a long time. Yeah. And that speaks to their dominance across Bundesliga and also the Champions League.
Correct. It's Greek.
So yeah, I feel it's a mouth-watering clash. And as much as I would love to see Barcelona come out on top, I would not want to see them come out.
How about if this game ends in a stalemate or a draw?
That is an outstanding result, because an outstanding result from a Barcelona perspective, they are used to being trashed by Bayern Munich. So the only people that will feel hard done by if it ends or the draw will be Bayern Munich, because they'll be going there confident to take all 3 points to trash Barcelona as usual. what's his name
And then
now,
the Hansi Flick magic might just come through.
might just also come true. Yeah.
All right, so put your predictions on our social media handle. We do have it's on the screen. It's SOUQ News TV across board. Follow us across the various social media platforms. We might just be putting the predictions and selecting the winners from any of these platforms. So for your urgent 2K, predict correctly the scoreline between Barcelona and Bayern Munich. So we do have other games, in the UEFA Champions League today. Atlanta will be in action, and that is against Bologna. I beg your pardon, Celtic.
Celtic, yeah.
So they face Celtic at 5:45. That's an early kickoff. Brest from France will take on Bayer Leverkusen, another German team, 5:45. RB Leipzig is against Liverpool. That's on the screen. You can check that out. Manchester City play host to Sparta Praha, and that's at 8 p.m. And then you have Atletico Madrid against Real, French side taking on the Spanish side, at 8. RB Salzburg against Dynamo Zagreb. Benfica against Feyenoord. Young Boys against Inter Milan. So which of the game would you want to be? Would you want to have your eyes fixed on?
I think that Benfica Feyenoord is another mouth-watering clash, because the two know how to score goals. The two are fielded, young players.
Yeah.
They have that desire to win games. They know what it means to stay in the game. They play beautiful football, slick passing and all. And Atlanta versus Celtic. Celtic is another team that knows how to score goals. They know how to play the game of football. But we have, in recent times, seen them slump, in games where they take the lead, but they can't keep it, they can't hold it, they can't maintain the lead. So I feel like if Atlanta should score first, it's going to be goals galore, because Celtic don't know how to take their foot off the throttle. And another game would be Atletico Madrid versus Lille. Lille, they'll be cruising of that victory against Real Madrid, and they'll want to do another, in the Spanish, to the Spanish giants, Atletico Madrid. I don't know if they'll be able to do it. But it's going to be a game that we should see. My eyes will be on that one as well. Well, Manchester City Sparta is more or less like a walkover for Man. If they don't win, that will be the disappointment of the match day, because that's more or less like a walkover. And RB Leipzig against Liverpool, I see a draw because of travel, because Liverpool would have to travel, and Leipzig is kind of far, so I am anticipating a draw.
Well, as we wrap up, let's take a look at the rumors making the rounds. We hear that former Barcelona boss Xavi has held talks with Manchester United about the possibility of replacing Erik ten Hag. Do you think he's ripe? Those are the questions we would want you to answer in the comment section. We also hear the Brighton and Arsenal are interested in Aston Villa's Poland under-21 goalkeeper Oliver Zic. Graham Potter, David Moyes, and Gareth Southgate are potential candidates to succeed Oliver Glasner if he's sacked by Crystal Palace. And of course, top players in Europe could refuse to promote the newly expanded Club World Cup as part of a dispute between player unions and FIFA over a football congested calendar. And that brings us to a bit of football business related stories now, because a lot of women are accusing FIFA of damaging women's football, as 100 players have signed a letter demanding an end to Saudi Arabia oil company partnership. More than 100 professional women's footballers signed that letter calling on FIFA to end its partnership with Saudi Arabia company Aramco. And FIFA does have a partnership with that oil company, and the governing body have been accused of damaging the game. Saudi Aramco, the country's national oil company, was announced as a major worldwide partner with FIFA in April as a result to hold sponsorship rights in 2026 Men's World Cup and the 2027 Women's World Cup. According to The Athletic, women have signed an open letter addressing FIFA President Gianni Infantino, criticizing the partnership with the company. I don't know what you make out of that. Saudi oil trying to penetrate all nooks and crannies.
We've seen them trying to penetrate even in Formula One. We have seen them also in golf. They are an investment platform. They're trying to invest in sports, and they are trying to expand their horizon. Instead of keeping those riches in your country, why not just lend this money, invest in other? I don't know what their petition is about. I don't know how money is diluting the game or the beauty of the game. I don't see how possible that is, because money is how you run this game. If without money you can't run football. A lot of people make ends meet from around sports. So I would really like to read the petition and see what their disturbance or their worry is
Well,
about.
FIFA is saying that whatever money will be made will be reinvested into women's football, and I don't think the women's football feel they're getting enough from FIFA.
Okay.
Remember when Spain were calling for, I think it was the US, saying, "Oh, you need to pay us as much as you paid men."
That's not possible.
I don't want you to go in that direction.
Because
I mean,
it's true. It's true. But you can't pay as much as you pay the men because the revenue you generate from men's
it's
football
cannot be compared.
Yeah, and if you are able to generate, okay, say you are generating 100 million when you host FIFA World Cup for men. Now the ratio to how much revenue you generate for the women, maybe say 30 million.
It's okay.
You can't.
Aki, right?
So I just feel it's not fair to demand equal pay because the money they are making from the sports is not the same.
Well, I can't help but agree on that one, and also say that this is where we'll let the curtains drop on the show. We are practically out of time, but then time flies a lot when you're having fun. And so we'd ask you to go about your day, bearing in mind that there's an urgent 2K for you to take home or to receive if you correctly predicted the game between Barcelona and Bayern, which will be happening today in the UEFA Champions League at 8. I've been here with none other than Charlie Montero. It's been great having you as usual. And of course, the partnership is, should we do that again?
We should for the screens. For the screens, yeah.
Have yourself a wonderful day and do follow us on our various social media accounts. We'd love to read from you. Looking forward to your engagements. Until we come again, bye for now and may the best man be.